Right, grab your jembes and your hoes. It is time for us to go farming. Let's discuss the Kenya Farmers Award. Joining me on set is the Managing Director of the Kenya Farmers Award, an award that was started 2 years ago in 2021 and now has had impact in various categories, which we'll be getting to understand in a short while. But before that, let me introduce Bonam MD himself. It's your time to shine, and then tell us, of course, what your capacity is at Kenya Farmers Award.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning to the listeners. My name is Anthony Murigu, the CEO and the Managing Director, Kenya Farmers Award. It is actually an award that recognizes the farmers who are doing exemplary in the agriculture sector. We not only recognize farmers, but we also go an extra mile of recognizing the value addition. We also recognize the industries, people who are actually doing adding value to that agriculture product. And we also go to an extent of recognizing the counties that are actually funding the agriculture sector, because we are looking at it in terms of we want to end the drought in our country. And how can we do it? We can only do it by joining the Kenya Farmers Award.
Right. You're saying that you are recognizing, of course, farmers, agriculture industry, value addition ventures, everyone else who's doing an exemplary role or who's doing something exemplary in the agriculture sector.
Yes.
I've looked at your categories, 16 categories, yeah?
Yes, we have.
What range of awards do you do in these categories?
For these 16 categories, we have some trophies that we do to farmers, and we offer the farmers, we offer the limelight to these farmers, and we try to look on how can we do partnership and how can we expose these farmers to funding. Remember, there was a lady who was given 44 million Kenyan shillings in US when doing value addition to coffee. So we are looking at it for the farmers who are in Kenya. How can we be able to expose you? How can we give you that mileage so that you can also get those funding and be the farmer that you want to be or that you aspire to be?
Right, yes. And that's great. I'm seeing here the categories, of course, on the award scheme, the Kenya Farmer of the Year, yes. Kenya Youth Farmer of the Year. Let's begin with those two. How do you get to know who's the Kenya Farmer of the Year and who's the Kenya Youth Farmer of the Year? Are there submissions? Do you get to visit their farms, or how's the process like?
Okay. So the farmers normally submit. We have a platform online, the farmersaward.co.ke, where farmers submit what they are doing in our online platform. And how we do the vetting process, we come and we check what you are doing in the farming. We also do some check on how well are you keeping your record. Remember, for any business, record keeping is very vital. So as a farmer, remember, farming is a business. So we look at how good you are keeping record, and also we look at how are you impacting the community or the society. How many people have you made the farmer that you are?
Right. And you've mentioned rightfully there, of course, a Kenyan who got a deal with Shark Tank. Yes. And her name, Margaret Nyamumbo, is the founder and CEO of Kahawa 1893, yes, an African coffee which is exporting this to the United States. And she was featured on that reality TV show Shark Tank, where she persuaded one of the judges to purchase 5% of Kahawa 1893 for, yes, how many millions you said?
44 million.
Right, that's just 5% of her company. She's adding value to Kenyan farmers who are growing coffee, might not be realizing the profits as needed. And it's something that you've mentioned there, which is important. Is this a big problem with farmers in Kenya? Being exploited along that chain and not receiving the necessary benefits from their farm.
Okay, I'll just talk about coffee farming. I'll talk about what Museveni was saying the other day. He was saying that in the coffee sector, we have, I think he was talking about coffee sector generating around $400 billion. But the farmers, the amount of money in the world that reaches the farmer is around $25 billion. From
That's
400
small
to 25 billion, meaning that there are some exploitation. So when you are looking at it, we are looking at how can we be able to add value to our coffee. We make the coffee value added, and you can be able to reach to the customer direct.
Right. Okay.
Also looking at Africa, remember that $25 billion he was talking about the worldwide. Africa, we only get around $2.4 billion in the coffee sector.
Just to distribute within the many farmers who are propping up a $400 billion industry.
Yes.
That's very unfortunate for the farmers.
There is a very big margin.
Right.
So for the farming, if you want to get the money, or if you want to get the value for your farming, we need to explore more and try to do the value addition.
Okay.
And that is why sometimes when I look at, I was also listening to Moses Kuria the other day on TV. He was talking about one county having at least one product through the industrialization process. So every county should at least have one factory that is value adding agriculture product, which myself I support. It will impact the farmer. It will make the farmer earn more from the sector. Because
now we are reducing that chain. Because if the factory is just within the county, it means you do not have to involve middlemen, transporters, and so much and so forth, so that you're losing money all along the way. So now, the Kenya Farmers Award, what kind of impact have you had on the farming sector now that we've spoken about, or the agriculture sector, sorry, now that we've broadly spoken about it?
Actually, the last time that we earned, several youth were almost giving up in the farming industry. And when we came up with the Farmers Award, the youths that we recognized during that time, actually, currently, they are doing very well. They actually increased their energy or their synergy, such that these youth, they are now be able to generate an income. Actually, currently, they are generating more than 1 million per year. An income of more than 1 million, which means that we are also empowering the youths. We are also empowering the community. Remember, once we have a farm that is generating more than 1 million per year, you are talking about creating employment. So remember, in Kenya we have a problem of employment, and the only way to mitigate this is only empowering people to join this farming sector. And just to talk about when we are looking at history, or during the colonial period, we were talking about agrarian revolution. Agrarian revolution was looking at having quality agriculture and also having factories that do the processing of this agriculture product. So we are not supposed to go back to that agrarian revolution. Right now, we are supposed to be having value addition industries that are already creating employment to our youth.
Right. Yes. Such that we have farmers who are producing goods, but also they are realizing the profit and the value out of what they have put out by such industries.
Exactly.
Instead of just maybe all of us going into farming and not adding any value in that whole chain. I'm seeing here in the categories that you've been awarding in this Kenya Farmers Award scheme. And interesting enough, there are others which are not farmers. I see but before others, which are not farmers, you've picked a couple of farm producers. See Kenya Rice Farmer of the Year, Kenya Horticulture Farmer of the Year, Kenya Bee Farmer of the Year, Kenya Tea Farmer of the Year, Kenya Avocado Farmer of the Year. What informed in the picking of the specific commodities that are in this list?
When looking at some of the sectors that contribute greatly in our economy, we are looking at coffee. Coffee is one of them. We are looking at tea. We are looking at rice is also another upcoming product. We are also looking at the dairy sector. The other upcoming sector that is mostly done by the youth, it is the poultry. So looking at those sectors, we are looking at sectors that are generating a lot of money within the economy. And also, when you are coming and maybe focusing on the beekeeping sector, we are looking at the drought-prone areas or the ASAL areas, the arid and semi-arid areas. So when looking at the bee sector, we are looking at empowering those people in the ASAL areas. Yes.
So you pick specific commodities which bring the most value to the economy and empower people to create more jobs within those.
Exactly.
All right. That is a very great move there. And now that you've mentioned drought, I think it's important that we also talk about it. It's a current 5-year high in Kenya, and the mitigation efforts from the government are very minimal. Individual efforts here and there, and as we've said, of course, trying to empower people to also try and to empower people to empower themselves, right?
Yes,
to become farmers and also get value on their own instead of waiting for this kind of relief food. Is there a way that maybe you feel the government can partner with organizations such as yourself or farmers and ensure that we are reaching into more of these arid areas and solving this drought and famine situation?
Yes, there are so many ways that the government can do. We I was also listening to the Zimbabwe president. He was talking about the Zimbabwe economy in the agriculture sector. Zimbabwe was importing wheat from Ukraine, was 100% dependent on wheat from Ukraine. But the president came and sat down with the stakeholders. They had a discussion on how much wheat is required by Zimbabwe. So the Zimbabwe president went ahead and created an irrigation scheme that will make sure that Zimbabwe will be able to produce the wheat that is required by his country. So currently, as we are talking, Zimbabwe is not importing wheat through that irrigation scheme by producing their own wheat. They are even currently thinking of exporting the wheat from their country. We also look at fertilizer. The president of Zimbabwe sat down with the stakeholder. Zimbabwe was also importing fertilizer from Russia. So the stakeholder came up with a method that they can be able, they came up with the procedures, the formulas that will be able to produce their own fertilizer. And currently, Zimbabwe is able to produce fertilizer for their farmers. Why can't we do that as a country? Remember, for us to become food empowered, we need these farm inputs, the fertilizer. We need that irrigation scheme within the country that will be able to empower these farmers and be able to produce the quantities that we require as a country.
Right. All right. And other alternative, of course, alternative methods or channels that people can pursue to ensure that, we are getting more produce even locally rather than importing.
Yes.
And even speaking about alternatives, now that we have a situation of drought and famine, and a lot of people not being able to access essential commodities and farm produce, are there ways that people in the urban areas can pursue urban farming, within their small spaces? I know we have very restricted spaces in the urban setting. There's not much farm, there's not much garden space, but is there a way in my small bed-sitter, my small one-bedroom balcony, can I find a way to do urban farming such that bei ya sukuma imepanda, bei ya mboga na vitu zingine, so that I can also make my own small essential products?
Okay. Before we were doing something we are calling the hydroponic kit, whereby you can be able to farm those sukuma wiki, you can be able to farm your spinach at your balcony. And currently, we are having a number of youths actually who are doing very well in providing the balcony kit. Balcony kit is a system that you can be able to install in your balcony and be able to produce your own food. It is using the process of hydroponic. Hydroponic is actually a process of growing your food without using soil. You just need water and nutrients. So for those people who are having the kitchen garden, you can employ so many things. There are some sacks that are being used, whereby people just install and you can grow a number of vegetables just from your small space from the kitchen garden. Yes.
True. And that is this something that you've tried yourself before?
Yes, I've done. I was having a farm and my balcony. Actually, the whole people in the apartment that I was living were coming to run from the balcony.
They are getting something from your balcony.
Yes. So it is possible. It is possible to utilize that small space within your balcony. You can be able to do some hydroponic. You can make yourself make it yourself, or you can buy from people providing the hydroponic kit.
Right.
Yes.
Now, having a look at also still the categories that you have here, as I'd mentioned earlier, there's categories on farming and farmers, but there's others which are not in farming. I'm seeing here the Kenya Agri-Media Personality of the Year. Could you tell us a bit about that one? What is it about?
Actually, remember when you are talking about agri-media, these are people who are making impact in the agriculture sector. The people who come to cover your story, who exposes you to the limelight. They play a key part in the agriculture sector. For you to get that motivation to be able to do the quality farming, or to be able to reach your mileage, there is a person next to you who comes to cover your story, who comes to also make sure that these other farmers can be able to learn from you. It is the agri-media. That is why these people, they also play a key role in the agriculture sector.
I get it. Yes. All right. Now, this Kenya Farmers Award, is this already happening this year? I know it's an annual award, or are we past the awarding date?
No. We are currently we are doing the final touches. We'll be doing it next week on 10th March at JKUAT. For the farmers who are actually willing to come and learn. Remember, for the those farmers that we are recognizing are actually seasoned farmers. Some of them are very seasoned, and they have run the road in the process. So farmers who are upcoming, you can come and learn. Remember, during the Farmers Award, we are also having something we are calling agri-innovation. We are talking about innovation. Innovation entails so much. We have something we call the IoT, that is the Internet of Things, where farmers you can be able to farm irrespective of where you are. There are people who have come up with those technologies. You can be able to, just by using your phone, you can control your farm, irrespective of your location. We also have where you can be able to sell your farm products, even when you are in town and your farm is somewhere in Kisumu. You can still be able to sell your products through the technology. And there is a guy known as Anthony Miner, who came up with something you are calling the food ground. Food ground is utilizing the excess food that you have in your store. You can be able to sell it.
Okay.
Yes. There are guys who have done innovation. You can just come at JKUAT on 10th from 10 a.m. To 4 p.m. and witness some of these technologies.
All right. And you're saying that the nominations to these categories are already done, yeah?
Yes.
So we're just waiting for who will win the various awards.
Yes.
Yeah. We have an agri-media personality here within Kenyatta University TV. I'm hoping that he's very keen on this one. And also, he's been nominated and hopefully winning this agri-media personality of the year. Laban Shaban, all the best to you in that one. So, for someone who will win the award, yeah, I'm a farmer. I just won the avocado farmer of the year.
Yes.
What does this award mean to me, and what kind of benefits or opportunities or networks do I get to unlock with you guys once I receive my award?
Remember, if you win that farmer award, we have partners. We have people who are doing exportation. We also have value additioners like Kakuzi on board. So you will become they will actually wish for you to become a partner. Remember, these people actually need quantities and they need quality too. Winning this award means a lot for you in the business environment. So it will create more business. And generate more income. We also look at partnering with you on how we can be able to reach other farmers. We can be able to empower other farmers.
Right.
Yes.
Say the farming.
Yes.
When we talk about farming, we talk about people. Imagine immediately someone picking up a djembe and walking into the shamba. And you've rightfully mentioned there that IoT has been able to scale down the difficulties of going into farming.
Yes.
So does it mean that I could win Farmer of the Year by just having a farm, having my farmers there, but still controlling it with IoT?
Yes, you can do. You can actually win the award. Actually, that is the current model.
Okay.
That is working across the world. We have Israel, we have Netherlands practicing such IoT systems. It does not. Remember, when you are using the IoT, you end up producing more quantities and higher quality products from your farm. Remember, you can be able to detect the amount of fertilizer that you need for your produce. You can also be able to know the type of chemical that you are supposed to use for your produce and when you should sell the product. So it makes your work much more easier.
Right. So that's how much technology has been able to solve the challenges, the very many challenges that farmers are facing in their practice.
Actually, when you are looking at it, if you look at something we are calling the hydroponic, does not mean that you should farm with soil. You should not always pick a jembe. You farm using water and nutrients. You will not even you will not even touch the soil.
Right.
So you can also be able to control everything. You can go to US, control everything at your farm without worrying about winds.
Right.
Yes.
Definitely. Now into the future, in the projections that you have for the Kenya Farmers Award, what do you see this growing up into? What more benefits can farmers realize by joining your, of course, your movement and ensuring that we are empowering more farmers into the future? What is the projection like?
Actually, we are looking at a Kenya whereby we'll be having farmers who are producing quantities. Remember, right now we are talking about drought. People are dying because of drought, lack of food. Yet in our farms, we can be able to produce quantities that we can supply to the government. We are looking at it such that we will come up with a system that farmers can be able to export their product from their farm without necessarily going through the middleman. So through the Farmers Award, we'll be able to get in touch with the farmer from the village, the rural farmer, who will help us get to every individual within the area. We're also targeting to scale the Farmers Award, not just here in Kenya. We are targeting to go Africa, but always we start by our home country.
Right. Yes. Locally based with a global reach. I think that's usually the aim for most of the homemade innovations like yours.
Yes.
All the best into the future.
Thank you.
On the 10th of March, so if you're interested in matters of agriculture, which all of us should be really, so if you have time to go learn on matters of farming and also see what kind of technologies are being developed, what farmers are doing to alleviate the drought situation, what new innovations are there that you can adopt, 10th of March, JKUAT is the place to be for the Kenya Farmers Award next edition. I'm guessing you're calling it 2023? Kenya Farmers Awards 2023?
That is a 2022 edition.
Oh, okay.
We'll be having the 2023 edition launching very soon.
Okay,
yes,
for sure. Make sure you're checking it out. And maybe your last call out to the people who have not yet ventured into farming, yeah? So when we hear about farming, it usually sounds like a lot of work. I need to get a farm, I need to go get a jembe, I need to think about what if they die after 3 months, what if my seedlings don't grow, stuff like that. What if my poultry grows to 8 months and then it dies on some serious diseases. Maybe a call out to guys to be interested more into farming and what it could do for them as a business and maybe for the economy as a breadbasket.
Okay, I'll just talk about one thing. Remember, farming, we look at farming as a business. The way you start your Mutumba business there is the same way you should look at farming. Like you invest in farming and there should always be a profit margin by the end of it all. So after 3 months, you'll be able to reap some profit. So don't look at farming as we call it as a substance farming or the farming for the old. It is actually the modern farming method that is generating more income. And I'll give you a parting shot whereby we have this guy known as Adesina, the president of the African Development Bank. He talked about farming sector. The next millionaires in Africa will be generating millions of money. So my big question is, where will you be? Will you be the next millionaire? Or will you just be there watching others become millionaires? So think about it and let's join the farming sector and enjoy it.
All right. Thank you very much for that parting shot. That is the CEO and Managing Director of the Kenya Farmers Award, Anthony Murigu, creating time for us this morning. Asante sana for making time for us.
Thank you so much.
Right.
And I'll also make a call out. During the Farmers Award, we'll be having something we're calling the JKUAT Partnership Training. During the day, do you know about something called agriculture? Have you ever thought of farming snail, or we call it snail farming? Where can you use snail farming? Talk about the cough syrup. Talk about the makeup that our ladies make. Use. Don't miss that Farmers Award. Come learn and enjoy the process.
Right. Please make sure you're going there and learning on the various other means of farming that are there so that you can pursue them. In case kama hauko interested in avocado, tea and coffee, there are so many other things, including snail farming, as you said. And as you prepare for the Kenya Farmers Award, look up Boresha Kilimo, which is done by one Laban Shaban. Boresha Kilimo is a program here on KUTV where you learn on the various farming methods, practices, and also other things that you can get to inculcate into your cultivating and other farming practices. So check out Boresha Kilimo.